It's been 7 months since I got this thing. The Amaran 200x is touted as one of the best filmmaking tools you can buy when you're first starting out your kit. A bicolor 250-watt light that can get it done. But can it? So I was about to read you a list of specs about the light. Only thing you need to know is 200 watts, bicolor, goes from 27K to 6500K. That's all you need to know. So you can do warm and cool temperatures. The thing that really gets me about this being your first light is it's not bright enough. Like, it's pretty bright. Don't get me wrong. When I first got this light, I was like, yo, this thing is hella bright. I don't think I need anything else besides this. And now after doing a couple of shoots with it, 6-7 months of shoots, mind you, it's not bright enough. When you're trying to get the best quality of image, not only do you want to have in the background like this one where it's not super blown out, you can still see some color in there, but you also want to have everything on me be light, be soft and ambient. Right now, all I have to do is I have the light blasted straight up into the ceiling, coming back down on me. And it looks pretty good. Like, there's no crazy shadows. This is like a high key lighting here. This is what I would use this for if this was a corporate shoot. There's really only 4 lighting scenarios that you'll find yourself in. Daytime interior, daytime exterior, nighttime interior, and nighttime exterior. In those situations, the Amaran 200x really comes into play for daytime interior shots where you will have either a light really blocked out like this one, like my natural setup here, or nighttime interiors or exteriors where you have, you know, way more leeway with how much light you can actually use. On a recent shoot, I found myself in a situation where the Amaran 200x was perfect, and at the same time, later on in the same exact shoot, it was terrible. And it wasn't bright enough. Let's get into it. Okay guys, on this first spit, it was a wide shot, and I'll play it here. So, similar to what I just showed you, I just put the Amaran up into the corner, blasted it on, I think it was near 100%, maybe like 70, 60. But there was enough light in the room, ambient light. Again, this is a daytime interior, so there's a little daylight coming in. It's not a lot, but it's not pitch black everywhere. So I don't have to light the background. I don't have to do a lot of the other stuff. I kind of just had to make sure my subject was well lit and the area around her was well lit. And I actually kept the light there the entire time for this segment. It was kind of like a one and done type thing. Amaran was perfect for that part. Really, you know, if I had a more powerful light there, I would have done the same thing. So this is where it went wrong. All right, setting up the shot. Again, this is kind of me just one man banding it. Kind of a last minute type, I want to say last minute, but there was a lot of time to prepare. There was a lot of pre-production that went into this shoot. She didn't have like a scripted routine she wanted for each thing. She kind of just wanted to show like, okay, this is, you know, the environment that she's in, and you know, she had talking parts. I'm not gonna actually play the audio from anything here. I'm just gonna show you what the lighting scenario was. Basically, I had this one shot here, this one wide angle shot. I've got my A cam directly in front of her, 50mm lens, and I had the Amaran 200x off to camera right. And I did have at the first, and this is where, you know, there was a lot of problems with it. So I did at first have this, you know, my small light box, so I could just go straight, you know, straight to cover what I had. And I had a single layer of diffusion and the grid on. So with that modification to light, it dimmed it enough to where on the wide angle shot you see here on this left angle, it was too dark. And I think I have some recording of that too, but this angle on the left was too dark. So I had to bring up exposure on the basically I had to not only play with my main camera's exposure, I had to play with the side camera's exposure to try to get a balance. And then, shooting in 10-bit, I couldn't get anything back. Like, I think I shot in ProRes HQ and I still would have had, no, actually I lied. So my main camera was shooting 10-bit in-log on ProRes HQ, and B cam was shooting flat profile on the Nikon Z6. So I knew there was no dynamic range there. So like having this window in the background was cool, but with the Amaran 200x, it just wasn't enough light. I had to take away the modifier that I had on the softbox. So I actually only put it up just enough so that the single layer diffusion would stop from like actually shining your eye, because I had the light blasting at 200%, at 100% rather. So it was very bright. I don't want her squinty. So it ended up coming all right, okay. I would have liked the quality to be a little different. But I kind of work with what you got, and that's why when people are talking about this light being really good for a beginning cinematographer, for filmmaker, videographer, whatever you want to call it, it's it is good in the respects of you get a light that's $350 and you get a decent amount of power, and you can do, if you make the right scenario for yourself, you can have a pretty good outcome. But for this scenario, I would have liked to have a brighter light than what than a 200x. I would have liked to have probably, anywhere between like a 500 to 600. It would have been perfect, because I could have lit her exactly the way I wanted to. As far as like being able to double diffuse the light to make it super soft, and as well as like having the grid to get the light exactly where I want it to be. And I'll show you, there's a couple other scenarios where this light is fantastic. Nighttime interiors, even daytime interiors where you have control of the windows to block out the light. This light is perfect. You really can't go wrong with this light as far as it comes to a powerful source that you probably can put a 120 inch softbox on and be able to get nice soft quality of light. But if I had to do it again and I had to find a light, I really, this one of those things where you're beginning, so you don't really know. I really would have liked to have saved for the Aperture 600D. Or I know there's some other options out there, but I just think, if you don't have the flexibility when you have a 200 watt light. You only have daytime interiors with blocked out windows and nighttime stuff. So really, I would just save your money and try to do the best you can with bouncing light or diffusing it somehow and picking your angles. But when you get up to the certain level, you could just rent it. I'd rather save money long term and just rent a pair, rent some 600Ds or whatever for whatever shoot I come up, because then I have the correct amount of brightness for the scenario that you're walking into. I would get this light if you would just want to do like short films or things like that where you have complete control of the lighting. I would not get this light if you're trying to do corporate events, anything along those lines where you need something super powerful it's going to be during the daytime, and you're going to need a lot of juice. Obviously, you're going to be, after being near an outlet, you probably won't be able to, power the 600G from V-mount batteries for very long in a scenario, in an interview scenario like this. So, yeah, pretty much it. So, closing remarks. It's an excellent light if you're just trying to find something that's cheapest, that is still a decent quality of light. And this is my main key light right now, so I can do most of my stuff for it. I understand that you need to take away some of the light in the room, or in other scenarios where you don't have control of the light. It's not going to be the best for those. That's just how it is. So those of you that are on the fence, whether you should get this light, whether you should get a 60D or 200D, and what the purpose of each one of those is, I hope this kind of clarified that a little bit for you. And do yourself a favor, save up the same way you save up for a lens, and get the 600D. All right, guys. I'll see you next week.